get this baby up and running here.
Nice. Got a whole hour of it.
Little Firewatch going on.
It's great.
Hey, well, everybody, welcome to a half-empty bowl of dude soup, or our half full. How you look at it?
I'm more of a pessimist. That's the good one, right?
See that? Nope, that's a bad one. That's half empty.
I never understood that because it's like if it's right in the middle, isn't it both?
Wow, that's so Gandhi-esque of you.
I came up with that. I came up with that when I was in kindergarten. So
you didn't come up with any. This is John Smith, by the way. John, say hello to the audience.
Howdy.
And then Adam, why don't you say hello?
Hello, I'm Adam.
And then I am Bruce. I will be your host for today while Lawrence is out, and James and Elise are also out.
Is the gameplay muted?
I didn't mute it.
There's some talking in it, so you might want to actually.
I turned it.
They'll be talking over us.
No, yeah. Okay, so I turned it way down, so hopefully, like if you can see the video capture device there.
All right. It's gonna just sound like people are having a conversation behind us.
Hopefully I can mute it.
We don't need to listen to Firewatch. We just want to look at Firewatch.
We're watching Firewatch. We're not actually playing it. We're just watching it. That will become clear later in the podcast.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dude Soup's brought to you by Blue Apron and Casper. Check out this week's menu. Get your first 3 meals free with free shipping by going to blueapron.com/soup.
It's these chairs.
Did you just fart?
No, it's these chairs. They're leathery. I'm
not getting it.
I would. No, it's these pants. You have to own these pants.
You want to trade?
Man, do you hate that whenever?
Wait, hold on. I got to finish this pre-roll.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Casper is sponsoring this episode of Dude Soup. Get $50 off your mattress when you go to casper.com/dudesoup and enter promo code Dude Soup. All right, you can continue now.
No, I'm just saying. There's always that moment where you're sitting in a leather chair and you lean just slightly, and everyone goes, "Dude, did you fart?" No, just watch. And you go,
and then you cannot recreate it.
You just look like a wild man.
That's because you farted.
Yeah, because
that's good. And it doesn't smell though.
No, I didn't fart. That was the thing. I was thinking like Loki's in the background, just kind of like, gotcha, trickster.
I think it smells great.
I didn't fart.
Yeah,
I went to the bathroom right before this, so I wouldn't do that.
Adam smells good. He smells good.
I do smell good. I go out of my way to smell good for you guys.
All right, so we're gonna tackle the first news story of the day. Oh boy,
News story of the year, baby.
Yeah, this is. I mean, well, it's one of a few things that he has done recently. So PewDiePie was streaming PUBG, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, I believe yesterday. It was a Sunday, and he was streaming, just playing along with his friends and having a good time. And he used the N-word. He shouted it at somebody after they did something like stupid or whatever in the game.
Hard R as well.
Hard R, used the N-word, hard R, and then immediately apologized for it.
I don't know if he apologized.
He did. He said sorry. He was like, "Oh, I'm really sorry." And then he called that same player an asshole. So he used the N-word, apologized. Then he called the same player an asshole. But it apologized and said he didn't mean it in a bad way.
It's that sort of thing where like you're yelling. I don't know. It's like when you're apologizing for someone being stupid. It's like.
Maybe, yeah.
You're at, some guy cuts you off and you go, "Motherfucker, I'm sorry, but fuck that guy."
Right. And
you're not apologizing. Maybe you are. I don't know.
That's kind of, well, then that's what happened in the clip. For some context on PewDiePie this year, this comes after the stunt where Pewds paid people on a service called Fiverr to hold up a sign saying "Death to all Jews," and was let out of his contract with Disney's maker shortly thereafter. So that's just kind of another thing that I think has caused waves in the media recently.
Throw it on the pyre.
So yeah, exactly. Yeah. So back to the N-word. Game developer Campo Santo, developer Firewatch, the game we're watching right now, has decided to file a DMCA takedown of any Firewatch gameplay PewDiePie has uploaded to his channel, and any future Campo Santo games PewDiePie might play on his channel as well. Which means they don't want to be associated with PewDiePie. It's basically what they're saying because of this most recent I guess, offense by PewDiePie, which is kind of interesting. And we'll get to that.
I was watching it unfold online, and John Bain, aka Total Biscuit, was he did the smart thing and was actually reaching out to lawyers of saying, "Is this legal?"
Yeah.
Because as he calls them online, we call them like armchair attorneys and stuff like that, but it's like the people on Twitter want to tell you how the law works. He calls them lawlers. Like, hey, that's clever.
Yep.
Pretty good. But there's a lot of we see this a lot with like fair use and stuff like that, where people go, "That doesn't feel right."
Yeah.
And so a lot of people saying, "That's not right. You can't do that." And all the lawyers agree. It's their IP. They can do whatever they want.
Yep.
And this entire little industry that we work in is sort of a handshake agreement. It's not. There's no contract.
It is.
We have no deal.
It really is.
The IP holders can at any time say no dice.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
We will get to that stuff a little more. We'll be able to elaborate a little more on the DMCA stuff with Campo Santo here in a second. But I just kind of wanted to talk about the PewDiePie stuff. So to PewDiePie's credit, the video that was his stream is no longer available to watch on his channel, presumably because he feels bad that he said it. I mean, like I'm sure that he does. That said, the video is all over the internet because it was a live stream. People have ripped it. They put it all over Twitter and all that other stuff. He's the biggest YouTuber in the world with 57 million subscribers, and obviously he always has the spotlight. We always talk about this. Funhaus does. Always has a spotlight on him, regardless of what he's doing. I just recently got a tweet. Somebody I think they just kind of tweeted at me and said, "How does it feel to be a role model?" And it was weird. Because I was like, "Oh boy." And like I wrote back to the guy. I said, "Well, it's not, number one, it feels weird, and number two, it is a responsibility that I try and live up to because I know it exists." And I'm not saying I'm a role model for a lot of people. I'm just in the sense that there are people that watch and go like, "Oh yeah, like."
But you could be like John and I. We're a role model for maybe just one person.
Yeah.
For who?
A lot of people who do like eating contests look up to
me. But I mean, it's true though. Like
Christ.
they see you guys, they see us, and they'll be like, "Oh well, if he did that, then I'm going to do that too because fuck it, he did it, so it's okay." I mean, like, and I know that's like the most basic of things you learn in kindergarten, but it's absolutely true.
Yeah.
And right now people look to PewDiePie as a role model. A lot of people do.
It was like when Barney the dinosaur ran over that mailman. I thought, oh, we can do that now.
Did he run over a mailman?
May have been a dream.
Killed a mailman?
I had a lot of fever dream as a kid. One time I thought I was a Rugrat. Continue, please.
No, that's fine. They look to PewDiePie as a trendsetter, that kind of stuff. I don't know if that's something he's ever really wanted, though. I don't know if that was something he like anticipated or even wants to accept the responsibility for.
Show me a person who wants to be a role model.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I want to meet that guy who goes, I want people to look up to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want responsibility.
Yeah, no, it's true. So I mean, like, and I get the sense, and just for context and with Funhaus, we like PewDiePie. I try and keep up with his content because I think he's fucking hilarious. And just
I like his hair.
I don't like his hair, I like his beard, I like his face. I think generally he's just a good-looking guy. But
Okay.
But regardless,
Good characteristics.
regardless,
Very
I mean,
surface level. I like it.
he he strikes me as a guy who is just sort of like, you know what, fuck, I'm gonna make what I want, and then I guess consequences be damned. Maybe not always he thinks that way. I think with the Death to All Jews thing, he apologized for that. He came out and he's like, I'm really sorry if the words offended people. That wasn't my intention. So I think he knows that exists, but at the same time, he wants to make what he wants to make, which is totally fine. Either way, that's the world we live in right now. So when you start putting yourself in the public eye, like we have done, and PewDiePie and everybody else, you got to start being more careful about what you say and do. I can only imagine how PewDiePie feels because he's got so many people watching, and now everybody is waiting to get him. Like they're all waiting just to pounce on him.
Well, it's the age-old thing where they said, like, no one's life would ever survive under a microscope.
Yeah,
no matter who you are.
Exactly.
So it's much more fun to be part of the peanut gallery.
Mm-hmm.
It's less lucrative. That's for sure.
Absolutely. But you have freedom. You can do what you want, say what you want for the most part.
Yeah.
And people they're not gonna come after you because you're not famous or you're not in the public eye or whatever else. So
I can see that. I won't defend someone using
no, not at all.
a racial slur as such.
Yeah.
I keep, anytime these sort of things happen, I try to do the thing where I stand in the middle and go, okay, let's try to see every side. The first place my mind went was cultural differences. I often forget that America is not the center of the universe and that certain words are used differently. I've had friends from the UK who are like, oh yeah, we use these sort of, they've actually said they use the N-word like here and there, and they're like, yeah, we use it. It doesn't really mean much to us. And I was like, really? I mean, it's like, well, this is already a really uncomfortable conversation.
It is, yeah.
For me, but that's just because that's the world. I don't know. It's what I've grown up around.
Right.
So I took it as that, but then also, it's so weird. I was thinking back. I've said some really dumb things. I've made a lot of curses, especially while playing games. That's probably the one word I've never said.
Yeah, I mean, like, you kind of stay away from that, especially like if you're streaming.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. That's just not something that I would say either. But I think that's because, like Adam and I, we grew up here in Southern California, and that was not an acceptable word here at all.
Well, I grew up in San Diego,
right,
which is very right wing. If you didn't realize,
sure.
and I grew up in a Christian community.
Yeah.
A lot of racists, a lot of homophobes.
Really?
I grew up with, yeah.
Okay.
So I grew up hearing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And people just, and that was the thing, is some people were like hateful about it, and other people were just insensitive and lacked empathy.
Yes.
And so, you know, I'm not defending either way.
Yeah.
But, you know, some people have hate in their hearts, and other people just lack empathy.
Well,
yeah.
I was going to say, just to go on the record, I don't think, personally, I don't think PewDiePie's a racist. I've never thought that about him. That's not what I think. But, sorry, go ahead, Adam.
Oh, no. I was just going to say, it is a foreign thing to me, and I realize it in a lot of ways. It all comes from, like, the way people are brought up. So I can see someone in, like, the deep South being raised and be like, you don't talk to those people, and you can use this word, and it's okay. I never had that talk.
Me either.
It was more of like, your dad's not coming this weekend, get used to it.
Jeez.
So that was more of my life, and it was more of like, can I watch X-Men this weekend? No, you're cleaning the house. So I don't know, like I also grew up in LA where it's kind of a multicultural thing, so it was just like, that just never really happened. I don't know, I like grew up with a lot of like I grew up in a very like it's LA, so it's like a lot of Latino sort of stuff. Like Jess's whole family is like Mexican and Spanish and all that stuff. So it's like that's sort of the world I know.
LA's a big city, and there's a lot of cultures here.
And so that we didn't really have a racial divide like that, but I still am aware of it.
Sure.
And it's still one of those things where like, even as a kid, you're like, hey, you don't use that. You just don't use that word.
No, yeah, and that was one of the first things. I got lucky. My parents were normal, so they would tell me like, we accept everyone, regardless of skin color or whatever else, and we just don't use those sorts of words. We don't use those sorts of slurs and stuff like that because it's rude. And you accept people for their character, not for their their race or their gender or whatever else.
Yeah.
And so I got lucky. Like I think that's kind of what Adam was getting at earlier, is that like obviously the N-word has a lot of power and history and negative connotation in the U.S., but in different parts of the world, I mean, I can't speak to PewDiePie's environment when he was growing up. I have no idea.
Yeah.
So it definitely could be different.
Well, that's where the whole thing struck me as, this is where it gets really sort of interesting. It's like, so what happens? So I remember there was like a Chinese streamer a while ago. She didn't understand English at all, and someone like paid her. They like donated or whatever for her to play a song. And it was just the most horrific.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
And she was just sort of like, and it's like, she didn't know.
Yeah.
And so, like, I can't get mad at her, but that was also, obviously, Felix has a grasp of the English language, but maybe not so much of the different cultures.
Yeah.
And so, so as far as I know, Campo Santo is an American company. So I thought the whole story was really interesting, where an American company is getting mad at a Swedish Let's Player who's living in London or England, dropping a word that is very much frowned upon and has very much negative connotation, so much to the point that they are issuing a legal takedown of gameplays. I thought that to me was the more interesting part of the story, because that affects us.
Well, yeah, it affects all Let's Players. And
it's really crazy to think that. I think we've gotten very comfortable in the last few years, but I don't know, every time Sega or anyone would pull this shit, thank goodness it's very much in the Let's Player favor. I'm really glad. I'm very fortunate. I'm always happy that game companies take the stand of, oh, no, please play our game. Please share it. Monetize it. Do what you will. Totally fine.
Yeah.
Like Rockstar's always been really supportive of us.
They have. It's true.
Even during the YouTube.
GTA, yeah.
Well, yeah, and even during the YouTube adpocalypsing, they reached out to us and said, are you guys okay? Anything we can do, we want to make sure your guys' stuff is monetizing. So it's like, that's really cool. Yeah, that companies will do that.
It's weird. It's a weird situation we're in, because we have companies like that are sort of, I guess they're like, like judging. They're judge, jury, and executioner of this kind of thing, and they can be, because it's their IP. It's
their IP.
They can do whatever they want. But before we move on to that, just really quickly, I wanted to say, like, all the stuff we talked about with PewDiePie, and like how he grew up and how the word might be different out there for him, etc. Regardless, he's got a very large responsibility because he's watched by so many people across the world.
Yeah.
And it just becomes a matter of how he acts in public versus private. And it may be acceptable with his friends or whatever else, or even with his family, who knows. But then once you get on the internet, it becomes a little different. And it's, like I said, a lot of people have kind of jumped on the bandwagon of calling him just a racist, and I don't think he is. I have never thought that. I just believe he has to be more careful about what he says and does.
On the flip side, a lot of his audience has been defending him and saying like he did nothing wrong. It's like it's okay to be critical of people who you respect or look up to.
Yeah,
you can say, yeah, that's a fuck up.
Yeah.
Maybe could have used better judgment there. You're allowed to say that.
Absolutely, you are.
I mean, it's okay. You don't have to blindly follow someone, especially if I mean, we can't speak for Felix PewDiePie if he wants to be a role model, but I don't. I can tell you right now, I don't want to be a role model. Yeah. Please don't look up to me.
Well, because we're all fuck ups. We're all fuck ups. We're all,
human.
What is it? Nobody's nerfect.
Yep.
So,
never heard that before. It's really clever.
And
take that.
It's just it was like somebody had it as a tattoo in a show, and I always thought it was funny.
Oh, it was a Metalocalypse.
That's what it was. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. But I mean, we're none of us are in itself role models, but when we continue to put ourselves in the public spotlight, we kind of have to think about that stuff when we get on and play games or make comedy or do whatever we're doing. It's very important to think about that stuff. So, all right, sorry. Moving on to the Campo Santo DMCA takedown stuff.
I was just gonna say,
please go ahead.
I don't know about you guys, but all of my childhood heroes turned out to be monsters.
Like, wait, who? Like Bill Cosby?
Wait, what about Adam
like
West?
Bill Cosby and a lot of people from my personal life.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh man. I'm sorry.
Just
I'm sorry,
no, I'm just saying if you instead of holding people up on this pedestal, it will break down if you hold them up there. So just remember that everyone's human. Everyone makes mistakes. A lot of people are bad people.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't think PewDiePie is a bad person.
Yeah, no.
In the very least, I've never thought that.
I always like to think, if you were drowning, would this person throw me a life preserver, or would they walk away and laugh?
Yeah, that's a good judge of character, I think.
It's did you see It this weekend?
I did.
Okay, I won't talk about it too much. We're gonna save it for Funhaus. But did you ever see the original It, Bruce, the TV show?
I never did. I know.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I kind of know what it's about, but not really.
Stephen King does this really good thing where he goes really far with bullies, and the bullies are homicidal. I always think of man, fuck those people.
Yeah.
Where I mean, they whip out a knife and start carving this guy's name into a fat kid's stomach.
Oh.
And you're like, what a fucking asshole. And so. I like looking at the Stephen King litmus test of where do you fall?
Yeah.
Are you the stuttering kid who's gonna throw some rocks at the bullies, or are you gonna be carving your initials? And
that's like pure evil.
No, exactly. Yeah, it's one of those things too where I'm just just super shitty adults.
Yeah,
like people who abuse their position of power of being an authority figure and saying, oh wait, I can get away with this. Fuck those people. Those are the people who I'm always you're very evil. A guy who lets out a racial slur while screaming, probably not pure evil.
Yeah,
I'm going to go ahead and go on record and say
good.
that one.
That's good.
Misguided, maybe. It's this is the conversation I'm going to be having with my stepson right now. And be like, son, we don't use that word.
Right.
And he'd be like, why, Dad? You're like, well, we just don't. Might hurt somebody more than you understand right now.
Correct.
Because there's a lot of struggles that someone may have gone through that you don't understand, but you need to have empathy for this sort of stuff. But not to say, so here's the other side of it. I didn't want to linger on this thing for too long.
It's fine.
You can do this in a smart way. Louis C.K.'s gotten away with it. He did a whole bit on he said the N-word. He goes, I hate when you say that because now you put the word in my head.
Yeah.
And then he drops the hard R over and over, but he's doing it in a educational and a funny way.
Yeah.
It's clever.
And it probably could offend some people. I'm sure it's offended some people.
Sure.
But I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
There's a certain context.
That is a smart way of performing comedy. South Park can get away with it.
They're very risky. It's very, very risky.
South Park did the whole thing, the naggers
that's
bit with Jeopardy. And
oh yeah.
I mean, there's even the part where it's the missing letter and you see the camera guy move his head over and you're use the audience oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Yeah, that is that's the kind of stuff that I feel and funny enough, PewDiePie is in those ranks. He is at the top of YouTube.
Yeah.
And millions and millions of people know him, just like South Park, just like Louis C.K. So it's interesting to see the backlash on YouTube and also the context, like we've talked about, versus South Park and versus Louis C.K.
Yeah.
But it's they're all on the same level, I would say. They're
I feel like professional comedians and shows are better at it
Well, they've probably been around it longer.
Yeah.
You know, like they've probably been doing it longer and knowing that they got to be really careful.
Well, yeah, I mean, like it goes back to the...
Yeah, and they don't do it out of impulse. It's written on a script.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. And they thought about it and really like figured out a way to deliver it.
Yeah, it's... Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's very, very few comedians and shows can get away with this sort of stuff. And they're usually... It's the things like the Rick and Mortys or the South Parks or the Louis C.K.'s. And Bruce and I were talking about this before, but this is how Kramer's career ended.
Yep.
And because the way he did it was not very funny.
Michael Richards. Yeah.
Michael Richards, yeah. And it was, and he had to do the big apology thing, but he never recovered.
No.
Not that he needed to. He's got Seinfeld royalties. He's fine. But that's the sort of thing that could damage his career.
Yeah. And
it's crazy.
Also the context of that too. Like he was on stage and he was trying to do a comedy set, but like when you watch it,
It just comes off as angry.
it just comes off as angry. Doesn't
Well, I think it was. Didn't they do that in Curb Your Enthusiasm where they brought him on and someone made him mad and he's like, I wish I could say a word that makes you as mad as I'm mad right now as you're making me feel. And like that was the whole, like they explained that he was mad and he acted out of anger.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so that's I mean, I think that's good that he had that opportunity.
To
10
explain
years
that
later,
he
yeah.
fucked up.
But I mean, like when you watch the video, it's just like this
Yeah, it's
dude
like,
screaming the N-word. I mean, and then there's no defending that.
Right.
Like you can be like, no, I meant it another way. Like,
Right.
that's not, that wasn't the case.
So,
Anyways, moving on.
yeah, move on to the...
By the way, you're really good at this game.
Yeah,
I
Bruce,
know,
you're
aren't
killing
I?
it.
I've been playing under the table the whole time. No, so this is Firewatch.
No one's good at Firewatch.
This is, yeah, that's true.
Is this really all it is? Is do like aliens come or something?
I actually don't know
Or do
the
you just
twist.
pick up trash?
I think you're dealing with I think your wife has brain cancer or something.
What? I thought he was a fireman. Anyways,
No, you're what? You're working at camp.
so whatever. Well, this is Firewatch. We're watching Firewatch, and
As
it's Firewatch
most people
gameplay on YouTube. And the company that developed it, Campo Santo, they're the ones that decided to issue a DMCA takedown to PewDiePie because he used the N-word. And a lot of people have been questioning whether or not that's legal. Can you actually issue DMCA takedowns to specific people? That kind of thing. Campo Santo's website actually says the following: can I stream this game? Can I make money off of those streams? That's you as the player asking questions. Campo Santo says, yes, we love that people stream. Love that people stream and share their experiences in the game. You are free to monetize your videos as well. Does this constitute a contract with Let's Players that can't be revoked? No, that's not at all. There is no contract there. Does Campo Santo still own the IP rights? Yes. Can they at will withdraw the rights of Let's Players to play their games? Yes. So they can take away those rights to upload and monetize videos about Firewatch whenever they want. They can do that anytime they want. And it's, I think this is Lawrence, but because he put some notes in. It's a scary reminder that Let's Plays still exist at the mercy of IP holders. And like we talked about before, if Call of Duty decided that nobody could play Call of Duty on YouTube, they could say, Activision could be like, yep, we decided to unmonetize all of those videos, and now we're going to copyright claim all of the Call of Duty gameplays. They could do that.
Isn't that what Nintendo used to do, or do they still do that?
They
or?
still kind of do it.
They
You have
still
to be
kinda
part
do
of
it.
their network.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
well, here's the other. This is where it gets a little crazy. You can do a monetize. There's a few different avenues you can go through, especially on YouTube. You can do the claim, which means the copyright holder goes, "Hey, you stole my video," because this has been an ongoing problem with YouTube. So we can do this too. We tend to not to, but someone could just upload one of our videos and go, and they're monetizing it. We go, "That's our video. Claim." And so we claim it, and now the video will still make money because YouTube wants to make money. Now the correct copyright holder will just get that money.
Yeah.
And it's gotten better. Now the money goes into escrow and these sorts of things when there is a dispute, yada, yada, yada. And then there's just the full-on DMCA takedown. That is, you stole a thing that we did not want to be uploaded in this manner. We are taking it down.
Okay.
And that is what they're doing. They're doing the scorched earth policy. Right. Now, the funny thing is people are re-uploading PewDiePie's video on their channels.
Yeah.
And I think he just did one gameplay. He did a full gameplay of 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Well, there are kind of a few consequences to this avenue of the controversy, which is if you're thinking about the worst possible outcome, do all YouTubers lose out on open ad revenue? And are we looking at a more difficult selective process to be granted Let's Play rights in the first place? And that's kind of what Nintendo started doing
Yeah.
with their creators program. It's not the greatest revenue share in the world, I've looked at it. And
Yeah, but their solution is it's this or nothing.
Yeah, and that's even weirder and scarier.
A little weirder.
I guess another question Lawrence posed: would this have happened eventually, even without PewDiePie? I don't think I feel like none of us are blaming PewDiePie for this. I think this is something that we've always known for years and years and years. We've known that publishers and developers and stuff like that could do this anytime they wanted. It just never did. And we have we like Adam said earlier, we have a kind of like an unspoken agreement, which is like, you play our game, monetize it, and that's marketing for us. And then ideally, it'll sell more copies of Firewatch or whatever else.
Right. Well, they're going to make more money off of the sale of a game than they would if they were to copyright claim a video that has 10,000 views.
Right.
I think that's the mindset typically.
And so we're kind of in a weird space there with YouTube and Let's Players and stuff like that. I think this is I personally think this is just the Firewatch developers, Campo Santo, making a statement. I think that's what it is. I think they're saying, we don't want this guy to play anymore because of the way he talks and the way he acts.
So one of the co-founders, Sean Vanneman, kind of went on a Twitter rampage.
He did.
Where he said, there is a bit of leeway you have to have with the internet when you wake up every day and make video games. There's also a breaking point. I'm sick of this child getting more and more chances to make money off of what we make. It's like, whoa, tell us what you really think.
Yeah.
And he's like, he is worse than a closeted racist. He's a propagator of despicable garbage that does real damage to the culture around this industry. So this is the breaking point that PewDiePie pushed a game developer to go this route.
Yeah.
So that's why it does definitely feel like an extreme.
Yeah.
These are feelings this individual or company has had towards an individual for probably some time. Obviously, it's kind of clear there. He's saying, I'd urge other developers and will be reaching out to folks much larger than us to cut him off from the content that has made him a millionaire. Furthermore, we're complicit. I'm sure we've made money off of the 5.7 million views that video has, and that's something for us to think about. And this is very much like stream of consciousness.
Well, it's interesting he says that too, because I'm always like, something for you to think about. Does that mean that you're going to give that money to charity, or like, are you just going to be like, darn it, and then keep the money?
I mean, how do you quantify those sales?
I mean,
you can't.
I don't know if I bet you can. I bet you can quantify those sales.
Maybe
or even quantify the monetization that video has.
Yeah.
So
he says this is from 23 hours ago. Freedom of speech is freedom of prosecution. His stream is not commentary. It is ad growth for his brand Our Game on his channel. Equal endorsement.
Right.
Those are his words. So that was the end of it. And the video is no longer on his channel. That's where it ended.
Yeah, it's been taken down. That was Sean Vanneman from Campo Santo, the guys that developed Firewatch.
Yep, and legally, it does not matter how you feel about this. Campo Santo has the right to do that, and so does every other game company and developer. We're talking about extremes here, and like worst case scenario. I don't think it'll ever get that way. I think you'll always be able to monetize gameplay, which is really cool because you can't just upload a movie or an audio book to your YouTube channel and go, look. Yep. Video games are I think it's the one medium that's completely different and unique, that it is a interactive medium that you can put your own spin on it, and you can add, I mean, you don't even need to do commentary.
Yeah.
You could just upload a video gameplay of most games and monetize it.
I mean, a lot of times I'll look up no commentary. Yeah. Because I don't want some guy being like, whoa, check that out.
I watched some gameplay. Bruce and I, we can talk about this too after we're done with this story. Yeah. But Bruce and I flipped to Lucasfilm for the weekend, and I downloaded a 24-minute gameplay video of Ruiner. I used did the YouTube Red thing, just downloaded it before we got on the plane, and I just wanted to watch someone play a game because I'm like, I'm curious how this game plays. And I got pretty fucking excited about it. Yeah. And I think it was just like some news channel, like a Eurogamer type or whatever. And I was like, cool, awesome.
One other thing that Adam Kovic is really excited about is Blue Apron.
There, that was a nice segue.
I was looking for a segue there for a long time.
How does Lawrence do it?
I actually don't know. So this Dude Soup is sponsored by Blue Apron this week. Those who spend a lot at restaurants or at high-end grocery chains can now spend under $10 per person for a delicious meal. Adam, can you give us a few things that you've done with Blue Apron like personally in your kitchen?
Man, I can't remember the recipe titles offhand, but
that's okay. We'll get to them.
Yeah. They're Jess and I've been doing it for a couple months now, I think, and yeah, it's man. I'm a big fan of the poultry, the chickens,
Yeah.
the steaks.
You've been overhauling your entire kitchen because you've been cooking with Blue Apron so often, right?
Basically, yes. I cook way more. And God, it's good. It's good stuff. Good ingredients, good foods, good things.
There's some featured upcoming meals, I believe this month. Summer vegetable and egg paninis with Calabrian chili mayonnaise and caprese salad.
It's good.
Soy glazed pork and rice cakes with bok choy and marinated green beans. Skillet vegetable chili with cornmeal and cheddar drop biscuits. And garlic butter shrimp and corn with green bean salad and roasted purple tomatoes. John, it looks like you might be drooling there a little bit.
I'm all about those cheddar drop biscuits.
I love those cheddar. Those cheddar drop biscuits sound good every time I read them too. Blue Apron knows you're busy, so now they are offering 30-minute meals. These meals are made with the same flavor and farm fresh ingredients you know and love, and are ready in 30 minutes or less. So check out this week's menu. Get your first 3 meals free with free shipping by going to blueapron.com/soup. That's blueapron.com/soup. Thank you very much, Blue Apron, for sponsoring Dude Soup. We appreciate it.
I will say this is not part of the ad read, but I will say this. One of my favorite things about using Blue Apron is Jess is not the pickiest. I wouldn't say she's a picky eater at all, but there are certain things that like she doesn't want to eat. So it's like either like beans or raisins if they're in a meal. And to her credit, ever since we did Blue Apron, she goes, I will just trust them.
Wow.
Because every time we've made a meal, it's always been good. And we made something with raisins one time. She goes, you know what? I'm going to trust them. And we cooked it with raisins. Totally fine.
All
Great
good.
meal.
Okay.
Nice.
All right.
Good stuff. So
you
you might learn to try some new foods if you're kind of a picky eater. Give it a whirl.
Yeah.
It's always delicious. It's always good stuff.
So moving on to Lucasfilm.
Oh, sure. You want to close out
We can
the
close
end
it
of
out.
our,
You guys
the end of our
have final-
careers?
do you have final thoughts about the
got-
PewDiePie
Well,
and
I
the
mean,
Campo Santo stuff?
I did just want to say,
What? What? What are you? Now I'm worried.
if you have not seen Everything is a Remix, the Vimeo miniseries,
I've heard about this.
yeah,
Vimeo, yeah. It's just
yeah, Vimeo, it's a website. This was a doc series that got made, like, it got kickstarted way back in the day, like 9 years ago, I think. And it's basically, it talks about the history of content creation, and it also talks about the origin of copyright law.
Oh yeah.
And when copyright law was originally created, it was written so that the original creator had exclusivity and owned it just for a very short amount of time, and that was to prevent, a big business coming in and taking their idea and putting it nationwide on the shelves before this small inventor could do it.
Yeah.
like
But
McDonald's.
then it very quickly went into the public domain and allowed anyone to do whatever the fuck they wanted with it.
Yeah.
And you didn't own it anymore. You created it, you owned it for a little bit, and then the world owned it. And it was meant to spur innovation and remixing.
Oh.
But over the course of the past 100 years, corporate lawyers have eventually switched it to be the exact opposite, which is that if you make something, you own it forever, and no one can do anything with it without your direct consent. So yes, the current law, all these people own their IP, but should they?
Well, at least for 45 years, right? Or 75 years?
Is it 50 or 75?
Well, yeah,
I was
it's
forgetting.
now
Disney keeps
75 years.
upping
It
it.
used to be like 12 weeks or something.
Really?
Yeah, or like a year, I think.
It's really interesting.
Yeah. And I mean, some crazy shit got made during that time.
What do you mean? Like what? What are you talking
Avatar.
about?
Oh man, there were
Avatar
so
2.
many advancements to the wheelbarrow. It was insane.
Wait, was this back in caveman times?
No, this was 100 years ago or
Me
something.
make wheelbarrow.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
You copy IP claim.
I'm just waiting.
I assume that's how cavemen talk.
I can't wait till Mickey goes in that public domain.
It's never going to happen.
Because Disney.
They keep fighting it.
Yeah, they're going to keep renewing it, aren't they?
There's something.
But that's not why copyright law was made. What do they do?
Yeah. Well, it turns out when money's involved,
Yeah.
that usually reigns king. I know.
It's
I will check that documentary out though.
Yeah, it's
That
great.
sounds good.
It's 4 parts. It's all on Vimeo. They're 10 minutes each.
What is
They talk
Vimeo?
about Star Wars and how it was basically just a modge podge of dozens of older movies and Kill Bill as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a really interesting series.
Okay.
And it'll make you hate copyright law.
Wait, hate it or
Hate current day copyright law
copyright
because
law.
the people who made it would be spinning in their graves right now.
Well, they don't own those graves anymore because someone else.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, someone
copyright
else.
ended on it.
All right. Well, speaking of copywritten stuff,
Oh, yeah.
we'll talk about Lucasfilm.
Man.
Adam and I went to Lucasfilm on Friday, which is a few days from when this podcast goes up.
How did that come about?
It was really super weird. So I met this fan at RTX who kept staring at me in a restaurant. Like he kept looking at me like, because I was again
Licking his lips.
at RTX. You kind of assume that everybody's there, that they know Funhaus, Achievement Hunter, all the people that are in Rooster Teeth. And so I was eating
It's
lunch.
the opposite of everyday life.
It is the opposite of everyday life. It's
Yes.
true. Because nobody's looking at me when, when it's normal life. But I was sitting eating lunch, and this fan and his girlfriend were sitting at a table, and they kept looking at me. And eventually I kind of like went over and I was like, do you want to take a picture or something? Because I don't want to be an asshole and like think that somebody wants a picture. And they're like, yeah. So I was like, oh, yeah, cool. So so I sit down with them, kind of like bullshit for a second. And we take a picture, and he's like, hey, my friend works at Lucasfilm. And I'm thinking to myself, no fucking way. This guy's totally bullshitting me. He probably means the janitor for the building that's like 3 blocks down from Lucasfilm. And I was like, yeah, sure. Okay, sure. And he's like, do you want a tour? And I was like, well, of course I'd love a tour of Lucasfilm. I've always wanted to do that. And he's like, all right, well, I'll get in contact with my friend. And I was like, sure you will. Sure you will. And I gave him my email address, and I was like, just email me whenever you want. Yeah. And he did. He connected me with a guy that works at Lucasfilm. His name is Daniel, and he was like, "Yeah, Daniel and I I guess they had known each other for a year or two or whatever." And I think Daniel was in charge of events, right, at Lucasfilm.
I believe, I don't know what his official title was.
Yeah,
but,
I think he was helping to run events or running events.
Yeah. Super cool guy,
great guy, and we connected with Daniel, and he's like, "Yeah, come up any one of these dates," and that was it. We Adam and I bought our own flights and flew up there and took a lift to Lucasfilm and showed up, and I was like, this could backfire at any second.
Yeah.
I thought for sure. I was like,
well, we got to the lobby, and they were like, we're here to see Daniel. Like, oh, he's not here right now. And Bruce is like texting me. He's like, what do you say? He's like, I'm late. BB-8 held me up at the airport. And we're like,
and we were like, haha, that's funny.
Yeah. Well,
but it was actually BB-8.
Yes. So, well, the funny thing is, it reminded me of a time when I went to Disney World, and I went to the Animal Kingdom. I think they still have that ride. It's the like Operation Everest or whatever, where there's like a Yeti inside. Yeah. And we went on the ride, and afterwards, like, oh, the Yeti didn't go off, because I remember seeing an ad for the Yeti. There's like a big crazy Yeti with like a crazy like jet propulsion arm that's like supposed to rocket at you, and all of this thing's just like, it was just sitting there like, rah. And so I was like, oh, what's going on? And the guy working goes, oh, well, the Yeti went on vacation. I'm like, I'm a fucking adult. Talk like, I know we're at Disneyland, but talk to me like an adult. But in this situation, Daniel's actually being held up at the airport because he had BB-8
in 2 boxes.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Yeah, he's the guy. He was in Vegas for like a Star Wars event.
Yeah,
and he was the one controlling BB-8 to go around. It's like, we're like, oh wow, and he had the giant case, and he's like, oh, here's a BB-8. I got to go put him away real quick.
Okay, I thought you were gonna say BB-8 has a crippling gambling addiction, and you had to go pick him up.
BB-8's at the Bunny Ranch again.
He won't stop fucking. Yeah. But no, but BB-8 was actually holding him up. So when Daniel finally showed up, I kind of blew my mind. I was like, well, hello, I thought you were fake. And then we toured Lucasfilm and ILM, and like,
well, at first they sat us in a theater.
Oh yeah,
because like everyone goes, there's like, they do normal tours. Like I think you can sign up and do it or whatever. They're right off the bat, their lobby is like the nicest lobby in the world. It looks like it's like a library out of like a James, was it Jules Verne novel or something like that. It's all like very League. It's very cool. Not League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, but yeah. And then they sit you in a theater, and they're like, oh yeah, we're just going to show you some stuff. So it's all the like ILM trailers and like sizzle reels of like a lot of the work ILM artists have done over, like they did it was like Kong,
Deepwater Horizon,
Deepwater Horizon, which is, and they're just showing like, you see these reels on like their YouTube channels and stuff, or Vimeo, and they show you like the process of it. But holy shit, was it not the best sounding theater I've ever been in?
Yeah, it was.
Because it's obviously a THX
Skywalker
theater.
sound and the whole deal.
Oh right, THX.
And so they showed like the Ready Player One trailer, and I was just like, God damn, I've seen it before,
it
and
looked awesome.
It looked even better.
Yeah.
They also, this was crazy. Well, then after we met an artist, an ILM.
Yeah, so when we were in the theater, we watched, they had some really cool deconstructions of the special effects that ILM apply to each film. So like they'll show the original slate, which was like the Deepwater Horizon oil rig built on some backlot with no green screens or anything, just a tiny little rig. And then they'd show every level of special effects they'd add. And it was just like, it was amazing how much ILM had done and how many people it took and how much computing time it took to make these special effects for, you know, basically you kind of took it for granted in the movie.
Yeah.
When you watch it, it looked real.
Because all you see is the finished product, and you go, yeah, of course. They just said make it, and there it is.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, these guys are making half to like 2/3 of the movie.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
So
crazy.
we met that guy. There was a guy who walked up to him. He's like, "Hey, I watch Funhaus," and we were both like, "Oh, that's weird."
Yeah. And we're like, "Are you on the tour?" He goes, "Oh no, I'm taking my family on a tour. I'm one of the special effects artists at ILM. Like I worked on Kong, and I'm working on some of the new Star Wars stuff." And we're just like,
It blew our
like,
mind.
that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it blew our mind. And we were like, "Well, thank you for doing that. Like, you're doing a bang up job. Like, you know, keep doing it." And he's like, "Oh, it's no big deal." Like, he was sort of just swatted us away. And I was like, "No, man. Like, you're a fucking genius. That's so cool."
You're the actual hero.
Yeah, exactly. You're the hero. So, so from there, we took the tour and we got to see a bunch of the props just from all the movies from our childhood, which blows my mind. You get to see like matte paintings from E.T.
Well, the best part, they would show like stuff, really obscure things like, do you know what spaceship this one's from? And I'm like, some people are Armageddon men, other people are Deep Impact men. I'm a Deep Impact fan. That's from Deep Impact. And they're like, and then we see some random thing, and I'm like, oh, it's a painting from Enemy Mine. And they're like, how do you know these crappy Dennis Quaid movies?
That's because they were impressed at our movie knowledge, which I thought was kind of funny.
Well, then they had Draco from the movie Dragonheart. Just like they had a little
what?
Dragon.
Yeah, they had this little model on the floor, and we're just like, oh, it's Draco. And they're like,
Was Dennis Quaid inside his mouth with his sword?
No,
he was somewhere cleaning. I think. We did see the LucasArts room, which is like just closed off, and they're like, yeah, some guy's working there, but it's, you know, that's where they made the games.
Inside it. Oh,
yeah, LucasArts is like
they stopped.
It's still on the wall there.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, LucasArts, and I was like, oh yeah, they made a lot of great fucking games.
John, do you have any questions for us about Lucasfilm? Is there anything you want to know that we saw or didn't see?
What was the most obscure movie that they actually worked on that you were like, what the are you serious?
Interspace?
Innerspace.
I don't know.
They
It
worked
was obscure.
on Innerspace. I think the battery's not included in there too.
Oh, really?
But the fact of the matter is there were thousands of movies that we
that's
couldn't
nuts.
keep track of.
I will say the most obscure thing that was pretty cool was they showed they had a wall of crew photos from every movie they worked on.
Wow.
And they said Photoshop exists because of these photos. And they're like, what do you mean? And they're like, two of the special effects artists who worked at ILM needed to create a program to make these group photos to like fit everyone in.
Oh.
And so they invented Photoshop to do group shots for people who worked at ILM. And so those guys left to go find Adobe. And then I think one of the guys came back and he works for ILM
So
now.
it's John
Holy
Knoll.
shit.
Yeah.
It was John Knoll. He does special effects and has for years for ILM. But then his brother, I forget his brother's name, was the one that I guess started Photoshop.
Yeah. I was like, holy shit.
And another
That's
interesting,
nuts.
Yeah,
I remember Photoshop used to say when you were booting it up, it would say like on the screen who worked on it.
Yeah,
because it was such a
that's
small
right.
team.
Yes, that's right. But either way, those crew photos were interesting because, like, one of the first crew photos they had, I think, was ET, and it was like 6 people that worked on the visual effects for ET, and then you'd watch the progression over the years from ET till now,
To like Transformers, and you're just like,
and there's 500 people, 500 digital artists.
Drone to photograph the crew.
Yeah, they had to. Yeah, exactly. Go into the ceiling or into the sky and.
I should have shared my photo album with you, Bruce, because I took a lot of photos.
You can if you want. It should pop up here in the email.
Oh, it's okay. I mean, there's a video on Bruce's Instagram channel, I believe, of him interacting with R2.
Oh yeah, that's right. With R2, it was crazy.
But this was pretty obscure. We'll try to show it to the camera. This is a Roger Rabbit. Is that you?
Yeah.
Here, I don't know if you can show that to them.
Sure I can.
I'll try to upload it on my Instagram or Twitter or something so you guys can see it for audio listeners. But that is a stand-up, like a stand-in they used on set because, they drew Roger Rabbit in later. And so it's like, it's creepy when you look at it up close. It's like falling apart, but it's like, they're like, yeah, this is what Bob Hoskins would look at. And then like Judge Doom, the one that gets flattened, is like up against a bathroom wall.
Cool. Yeah.
Whoa.
It was really cool. It was really frightening.
Yeah, I totally forgot. I will upload those photos later to show you guys. But ILM was like, I really felt like a kid.
Yeah. Well, it's because all the movies that you watched when you were a kid. Like it kind of brought you back to that space, which is, and it blew my mind how much they worked on. It shouldn't, because I think back to all those special effects and I'm like, yeah, of course there's a reason why they were good, or there's a reason why you liked them. It's because it was the same people that did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. I was thinking that it was going to be them showing off kind of like new up and coming stuff, but I didn't realize that they have, the whole collection of their entire back catalog. It's like
It's all there.
All there. That's so much more interesting.
Well, they showed the model of the T-Rex from Jurassic Park.
Ooh.
Just sitting there.
And like that's a piece of movie history that will forever be remembered.
Well, they showed the original house from Series of Unfortunate Events, the Lemony Snicket one, the movie they did, and it's just this giant house, and it's amazing. And they're like, yeah, they just built that from parts. There was a Home Depot down the street, and they just found pieces of wood and like just built it. And then there was a lot of these like amazing matte paintings from Hook, and they were on shower doors because they're like glass is really expensive, so they would just go buy shower doors and paint on that. It was like, and it's pretty cool because it's like it's this beautiful painting, but the rim, the outside, is a shitty shower door.
Yeah.
But they just keep it up because it looks cool.
And it's part of movie history. So it's like it's in these really famous movies that everybody's seen, and it's on a shower door.
Yeah.
And it was also there was another really cool thing with the E.T. matte painting. I think it's one of the shots from kind of above the valley as you're looking down into the valley that what's his name, Elliot, lives in, and they showed us little Easter eggs on the matte painting that the artist put in. So he's like, yeah, one of the drive-in movies that's barely there is showing Star Wars, and it says like Star Wars on the screen. And he was like, there's a McDonald's over there, and there's a few other it's fun.
The really cool one was the Die Hard 2 matte painting.
Oh yeah,
that they did for like the end when like it's like all the planes are like they're grounded, and it's like the same 5 actors over and over, just painted different parts. But then it was right when Jim Henson died, so there's a bunch of like karaoke frogs like everywhere, and there's like just little Easter eggs hidden in there. Like it's pretty amazing because people would go in there with literally just a paintbrush, and those were the backgrounds for films. But man, oh man. That was like the tour to end all tours.
Yeah, it was really great. And after that tour, I felt very, very tired. So I went to sleep on my Casper mattress.
Perfect. God.
This podcast is sponsored by Casper mattress. Casper is made of supportive memory foams for a sleep surface with just the right sink and just the right bounce. Plus, its breathable design sleeps cool to help you regulate your temperature through the night, which I absolutely need because I sleep hot all the time. I think so does Adam. We've slept in the same bed very often. Breathable design sleeps cool. I already said that. Buying the Casper is easy, so you order it online. It's delivered to your door in a compact box, which is actually true. It's about, I think it's like 4 feet tall, not very wide. And then Lawrence loves to talk about it, but he's right. When you pop open the box, have you done this yet with the Casper? When you pop open the box and you cut open the plastic that the mattress is in, it literally just goes poof. It unfolds really fast. You got to be careful where you do it.
I think they push it down with like a hydraulic press or something. Yeah. So it's just this like compressed foam, and then boom.
It's really fun. And then free shipping, free returns. It's available in the U.S., Canada, and now the UK. Risk-free 100-day trial, so you can sleep on the bed for 100 days. If you don't like it, send it back, and you don't have to pay anything. So thank you to Casper for supporting our channel and for supporting our podcast. You can save $50 on a mattress at www.casper.com/dudesoup. And there's a code, which is also dudesoup, all one word, DUDESOUP. You can save $50 on a Casper mattress at casper.com/dudesoup, code dudesoup. Thank you again, Casper. Both, I think I sleep on a Casper mattress. I think Lawrence does. I think you have one.
I have one.
You do too? Man,
this is one of the first things I bought when I moved into my new apartment.
We've all got them, and
Mr. Millionaire.
I love them. I think they're great. So thank you again, Casper. All right. So what do you guys want to do? You want to talk more about Lucasfilm?
We can close out with. We also did a YouTube tour.
Oh yeah, that's right. We went to YouTube too. I forgot about that.
I could mention a similar experience. I don't remember much of it because I was recovering from almost shitting myself to death in Bangladesh. But when I went to Malaysia, I went to the I forget what it's called, the Toy Museum. And I learned about it, and that was the whole reason, because basically I did a job in Bangladesh for a nonprofit, and then as part of payment, they just flew me back a week later and let me go wherever I wanted. And I ended up spending everything I got paid in Malaysia that week after I worked it, so I came home penniless, after working a job. But I went to Penang Island, the Toy Museum, and they, for some reason, I don't know how, I don't know who, but it collected almost every toy that had ever existed and had it in this building.
Weird.
A lot of toys.
And they had every single Star Wars toy. That's kind of why I was reminded of it when you guys were talking about Lucas Hearts, because every Star Wars toy, every World Wrestling Federation toy, I think they had Battletoads and stuff. Like I was recovering from almost shitting myself to death.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a fever dream. I might have just dreamt it. I might have never gone to Malaysia, but it was. I can kind of empathize with what you guys were going through. You know, seeing your whole childhood.
Yeah, it was great
before your eyes. Like,
but we weren't about to kill ourselves.
Yeah.
Well, it was the virus inside of me that was killing you. Trying to kill me. Yeah.
I just imagine something weird, like it feels like a skit out of Eric Andre show where like just weird creatures are popping out of the walls.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, it was a good tour.
They're like, I love these toys.
Yeah.
There are no toys in this room. You're in a hotel room.
Yeah,
right now.
there's a man covered in chains telling you to come with him. Meanwhile, he's eating pieces of your brain.
Jeez.
Good dream.
Yeah, that place no longer exists.
It never did.
Yeah, I don't think it
Yeah,
ever did.
actually, you're right.
It's like the Disney knockoff Nara Land in Japan.
We'll move on to hard netting because
we have to do that.
Hard netting, there's a lot here. There's a real meaty piece of hard netting we got. So if you guys remember last week, Jam to Go beat what was it? Arceus or whatever, the thing that I wanted to win.
Okay.
It was that Pokemon, the guy that was the leader of the Pokemon or whatever.
Sure.
I loved it. But this beat it again, Jam to Go, which is just
It's magic.
just digital movies.
Some sound, yeah.
There, this is it here.
Ooh.
5 points.
This is what Jam to Go is.
Ooh.
I don't know what
It's
it is.
the future. That's
No.
what it is. It's the
Yeah.
future.
Hold on. But yes.
I can't figure out.
Yes.
It's in the future when augmented reality exists. You'll put on your Google glasses.
Every time you put a
And-
recycle can in. Yes, you got the key to the
The key
city.
to the city. That's
And
pretty
when
cool.
when you walk to work, you could say, "Oh, I'd like to play the." I don't know why I went British there. I'd like to play the walk to work game. And as you're walking to work, things are gonna jump out at you. You gotta dodge them while you're walking to work. You'll get points. You'll get to work with even more points than when you woke up.
Thank you.
That's augmented reality. When you pee into a bowl, you can shoot targets.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get there. But
Yeah.
but you tell me what Jam to Go is. Jam to Go is just
It's a
It's a
preview.
vision.
it's
Yeah.
just a vision with bad CG art.
Look, when they made Disney World, Epcot Center, they didn't go, yeah, just make the future. First, they had to
They had
visualize,
to
Bruce.
visualize. All right, and then Jam to Go is visualizing it.
Like
I,
the spinning dolphin, among many other dolphins.
I like Jam to Go a lot, as much as the next guy. But I don't necessarily think it's a hard netting champion. Unfortunately, it's won 2 weeks in a row.
I think it's a little self-aware.
I think it's too self-aware, and
Yeah.
I 100% agree.
I don't know.
Which brings me to the hard netting competitor.
Feels pure.
That Jam to Go is great. I like it. Don't get me wrong here. But which brings me to the hard netting competitor, the Alliance of Universes. So the Alliance of Universes, let me explain here. The Alliance of Universes is...
Is this a PDF on DeviantArt?
It absolutely is. It's a
All
PDF
right.
on DeviantArt made by Bud Charles. And the
What
Alliance
is,
of
what is
Universes...
that opening image of? It's Toothless, Kimba, the Simba ripoff. Well,
And the fire
Simba ripped off
Pokemon.
Kimba.
I don't know what
From
that is.
Gold and
That's
Silver.
Pokemon. That's a Pokemon. Oh, that's Kimba.
That's
Okay.
Kimba, yeah.
All right, so this is that's the Alliance of Universes symbol here with the A with the egg in the middle. Basic facts about the Alliance of Universes is a group of universes which have joined together under one government for mutual protection. These universes include the Doctor Who, Pokemon, and My Little Pony universes, among many others. The requirements for being a member of the Alliance are that a universe provides military or non-military support to other member universes when attacked by non-Alliance forces.
Oh shit!
Obeys the commands of the Alliance Emperor and their local regional commander. And
Wait, who's the Emperor?
Well, we'll find out. And upholds
okay.
the 9 basic rights granted
that
to
otter.
all Alliance citizens. Look, there's a lot here, so I'm just going to get to the most important parts. The 9 basic rights of the Alliance of Universe Alliance citizens are the right to public safety, access to food or its biological equivalent, water, biological equivalent, healthcare. That's nice. Clean,
Hey, maybe some people eat shit.
clean, healthy, sustainable environment, sanitation, shelter or appropriate habitat.
You're describing utopia. Continue.
Absolutely. How long has it been around for? Alliance has been around since what for Earth was June 2011. However, time in the Alliance's territories runs faster than on Earth. In fact, time in the Alliance runs faster than anywhere else. 24 hours on Earth equals 100 years in the Alliance of Universes.
Oh shit!
Wait a minute, hold on.
This is like
Hold
an
on a
argument I
second.
made when I was 11, and
So-
I wanted people to think I was older.
Time in the various Alliance universes used to run at different rates. However, it was sped up to match the fastest universe, Quillavaland.
Quillava Land. That's Quillava. His profile picture.
Quillavaland. I'm sorry. Upon each new universe joining, cloning, and the ability to transfer. I don't want to be about cloning. How does it defend itself The Alliance devoted a large portion of its efforts towards science since its inception, and as a result has control of the laws of intermultiversal physics themselves and of the laws that govern infinities. By controlling these laws, the Alliance has made itself the most powerful entity that could ever exist.
Bold claim.
There are Alliance universes
All right,
politics.
We can skim through this.
Hold on. The Alliance Emperor rules the entire Alliance, usually stay out of the politics, uphold the basic rights. There are regional commanders, the local government, the Alliance Parliament.
Well, Spyro.
The Alliance Emperor is Bud Charles.
What a coinky dink.
I know.
I smell corruption in the Alliance.
Hold on a minute. No, he's gone through a lot of hardships. He fled the
Is
planet.
that Bud Charles?
He fled the planet, maybe. He fled the planet with his friends, the regional commanders, and a number of otters, and built the civilization of Quilavaland, which would later save the Alliance from the forces of the evil Dr. Eggman.
Oh, shit. Eggman.
Out of gratitude, the Alliance gave him the position of Emperor. There you go. There are regional commanders. Topaz Fox, Piplup, Jaden the Thunder Wolf.
These are all friends.
The Blonde Reaper.
In his IRC chat room.
Wait, they gave him the position of Emperor?
How does the Parliament work? There's a Parliament, has two houses, the Party House and the Independent House.
Oh, my God.
At least 50% of the members of both houses must agree on a recommendation before it's officially announced.
Yeah.
What are the major parties? Boy,
Oh, dear God.
There's a lot of centrist, green monarchist, libertarian, conservative monarchist. What did they score in the last two elections? There were elections in the Alliance of Universes. Green Technological took it.
This is definitely like an IRC chat or something.
He took it. We're at 12 pages out of 56 in the PDF. How does the Independent House work? We don't need to worry about Pikachu. Who were the top 25 from the last two elections? Chief Yellow Yoshi won 14th. The Alliance have official advisors. Absolutely, it does. Agriculture advisors, Applejack. Healthcare advisors, Fluttershy.
Oh my God.
Sports.
Wait, what does Tails do? The bottom there.
He's utilities.
The mighty have fallen.
I don't know why he's utilities, but he is.
Wait, Darth Vader's on there?
Oh, is Darth Vader on there? No, Darth Vectivus. He's the industry and resources.
Okay. My bad.
How does the justice system work? Well, I don't know. It looks like so in Federal Alliance courts, all suspects are kept in secure but comfortable cells until the case is over. Suspects and victims both have the right to a lawyer. That's nice. And to have all laws and proceedings explained to them. If it is proven beyond reasonable doubt that a suspect is guilty of any crime against the multiverse, they are sentenced to life imprisonment in a maximum security prison, which is unpleasant, but where they are not denied any basic rights.
But don't worry, it's only for 24 hours or 100 years.
Yeah.
Right?
That is a life sentence, I guess.
Thousands of years. There are territories, Bud Charles universes. There's Nerd City. Otters.
How can a city be an entire universe? Come on, Bud.
Otters. Just says otters. I don't know. There's this. Oh, the Star Wars EU canon. I didn't know that. Look at that.
It's back.
Gemini's universes.
Keep going.
Boy, there's a lot of universes.
Each guy got a universe.
That's right. All the regional commanders got universes. So, hold on.
Is this guy Mormon?
Still scrolling past the universes. I have no idea. This is a history.
It used to be.
Okay. On an alternate, I'll read this like a movie. On an alternate version of Earth with futuristic technology, a local named Bud, fed up with the world's problems, gathered a group of friends. Together they freed hundreds of otters from traps. What is with the otters? Stole high-tech genetic modification equipment and stole a spaceship with a built-in self-sustaining ecosystem, then fled into deep space. And this goes on and on.
Ooh, happy 9/11, everybody.
On and on.
How many of his friends do you think actually read this?
Probably the regional commanders.
I mean, they probably contributed.
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
Can we skip to the end here?
Hold on, we're almost there. There are diagrams. This is the map of the Central Alliance metaverse. So here you see.
It's just like Dungeons and Dragons.
You see Earth is here. It's very small.
Okay.
Let's see if I can zoom into that. You see there's Earth. Right.
Is there a scale there?
I don't know if there's a scale.
Okay. I just didn't want to.
Oh, we didn't get to the choo-choo Nazis. Hold on a minute.
What?
There's choo-choo Nazis in here.
Oh,
somewhere.
yeah, I did see like an evil Thomas the Tank Engine.
Okay, here it is. So, when were the choo-choo Nazis? Okay, here it is. In the depths of multiversal space, however, a new threat was beginning to rise. Jonathan, a local from the Halo universe, had developed multiversal travel of zone and used it to take control of the Thomas the Tank Engine, Grand Theft Auto, and My Little Pony universes, among others, turning them into his new choo-choo Nazi Reich. The alliance of universes and choo-choo Nazis inevitably crossed paths, and war broke out.
Oh, hate when war breaks out.
Damn it.
So there are lots of key to there's more map roll of Central Alliance multiverse. There's more facts. Multiverse collections. Got that.
Oh, now it explains what a multiverse is.
There are many planets.
I just want people to admit they want to fuck the furry
I
animals.
mean, yeah, just say you want to fuck
Like,
them.
look, you draw it like that because you want to fuck it.
It's okay. It's
You
all
don't,
right.
you don't respect Applejack.
Yeah,
you just
yeah.
want to stick your dick in it.
You're allowed. Yeah, I was gonna say you're allowed to want to fuck a cartoon. It's okay
fine.
as long as you don't do
Just
it.
admit it.
Wait, does he explain how like carnivorous things don't eat each other in the different universes? Is that
I'm sure- so yeah, the Alliance has developed technology which can produce artificial meat,
oh,
which
okay.
is chemically exactly the same as normal meat. This was discovered by a scientist in the Kimba the White Lion universe. So there you go.
But that's Simba.
That's Simba. It's not Kimba, but you know.
That's fine.
Alliance. Does the Alliance have a flag? Absolutely. There it is.
Oh yeah, it's
That's a triangle.
it's the white color represents the bright future of the Alliance.
Got a
Looks
flag
like
right there.
up on the D-pad.
And what about a national anthem? Absolutely, it's got a national anthem. It's "We Are One" written in the Lion King universe. As you go through life, you'll see there is so much that we don't understand.
Man, we are out of time.
And the only thing we know
That we are.
is things don't always go the way
Bruce,
we
we
plan.
gotta start the post show. I'm sorry, man.
And there's the cute picture at the end. And there they are. So that's,
All right.
this is the Alliance of Universes. Updated, by the way. Bud Charles updated at some point.
Cool.
I
what do
don't
you
know
think?
about you guys, but I would fuck Tails.
Man, Tails is a guy.
Yeah, Tails is the guy.
What?
Sorry, man.
I mean, that's okay. That's progressive of you.
All right, so Hard Nettin. I need the votes. Jam to Go or Alliance of Universes?
I'm sticking to Jam to Go.
What about you? It's a tough
I think
choice.
Bud put a lot of work into this, and it would be.
Jam to Go did too. To their credit.
Yeah, but Jam to Go is like awesome.
I mean, it's almost too cool to be
Yeah.
in Hard Nettin.
Man.
I'm gonna say Bud Charles.
Bud Charles?
takes the cake.
I'm gonna
in
vote
his
too.
Quilava fetish.
right.
And I'm voting for Bud Charles. Alliance of Universes absolutely win. Jam to
Cool.
Go has had his
Just-
reign.
This,
Who
who you high five? All
me.
right.
He was high fiving me.
Ugh.
Bud Charles is on top.
That's about right. No.
Bud Charles, great job on the map of Central Alliance multiverse there.
Way to go, Bud.
If you guys ever get a chance, Google this. Really take a look at this PDF because it might open your eyes to an
We'll put
entirely
a
new world.
We'll put a link in the old descriptor there.
We will. It's
It might awaken something inside you.
it's a beautiful place.
Just admit you want to fuck the little animal.
It's a beautiful place.
Come on.
You see some pictures there, right there. Look at that.
You don't know why
Yeah.
you're attracted to the pony. It's
That one
probably
on the bottom left.
It's the thick calves and the little bit of ass and it's little fuck me eyes. That's why you want it.
So thank you for watching Dude Soup. We appreciate it, or listening to Dude Soup. As always, Lawrence always has a really nice sign off about how we really appreciate your support. And I totally agree. I don't have that memorized like Lawrence does.
He says tell a friend.
Yeah, he always says tell a friend. That's good. That's good
Run in the
advice.
background
That's
or
good
something.
advice.
Just get our views artificially up.
I'm actually going to tell you to tell a friend about the Alliance of Universes. And Dude Soup is fine too, but
It needs to grow.
it does need to grow, and we need to be part of the Alliance of Universes. Maybe submit our application to be in one of the regional commanders. Maybe appoint your old friend Bruce.
I'm just saying those animators know what they're doing.
A regional commander.
They
of the
know
Alliance.
it's making kids feel weird in the pants.
Yep.
So thank you again for listening or watching Dude Soup. And the post show's coming up in about, let's say, 7 minutes while we set up for that. In the meantime, we appreciate all of the support. Bye, guys.
Later. Fuck the pony.
Don't fuck the pony. Don't fuck it.
Well, you can't. It's not real.
Shitty name, concept that was already out there. They just took away the barriers between a person booting on the game and getting into it,
That's it.
right?
That's
Like
all
they,
they did.
like they. I will say, with the first time I saw PUBG, like a live stream of it, I was like, oh, was there a mod for H1Z1